Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am just doing a get ready with me girly chat. I just woke up, if you can't tell, and my hair looks a little crazy. So I'm gonna start with just taking off my glasses and brushing my hair. It's been really rainy here lately, which I love a good thunderstorm, but there hasn't been any thunder, just a ton of rain. So I'm hoping today they're expecting it'll be a few thunderstorms. Before I do anything with my hair, I like to do my makeup first. So I'm just gonna just click back my hair. But yeah, I just wanted to say Happy New Year's to everybody. I hope your year is going to be so good and prosperous and peaceful, and I wish you guys all the best for this year. I'm so excited when the new year comes around. At least for me, I've had the last 2 weeks off from Christmas to now, and I've needed so much rest, and I feel like I've been able to catch up on all the sleep I needed and just kind of not having much to do. I noticed that I tend to struggle with just relaxing and trying to not be on my phone and actually do my hobbies. I feel like doom scrolling for me is something I really want to work on. I apologize if I sound a bit congested. I think with all this rain, it's kind of messing up with my sinuses, and it's been a lot chillier here than normal. But yeah, since I've been off for the past couple of weeks, I've had time to kind of think about my goals and put together my vision board, which I do every single year. I usually, for my vision boards, what I like to do is I like to pick one word that I want to stick with, and then I also pick a color, and I use that word somewhere on my vision board, and then I also like to make the color as my background. And so my word this year is discipline, and my color is this baby pink, a petal pink. And I feel like that color this year really, I don't know, every time I see that color it makes me so happy, and that's just kind of the vibe that I want to have this year. I've been seeing a lot of reels and TikToks on making 2026 feel like 2016 again, which is so interesting considering a lot of the people who are making this, I think we're really young, probably my sister's age. And I had put together a list kind of thinking about why was 2016 so good, or what was the vibe back then. And the first thing was listening to a variety of genres, largely EDM. I was listening to a lot of EDM when I was younger, and just more upbeat music. I just feel with the music lately, I'm just not that inspired by or that excited to listen to. I feel a lot of the music is kind of stalled out, or it's I only 30 seconds of the song, and then the rest of the song is just not that good to me. And I don't know if it's just Spotify always just pushing the same music, so I feel I don't really listen to new artists or any indie bands. But yeah, I definitely think this year I want to make an effort of putting together curated playlists of old music that I used to love listening to back then, and then also just the new music with artists that I like today. So the next thing that I have on my list about how I'm making 2026 feel like 2016 again is not being afraid to be cringe and just learning to live life fully again. Whereas when I was younger, I think I was really just in my hipster phase. I feel at that time everyone was taking photos of literally everything. I remember I would go to Starbucks all the time, and I always had to take a picture and post it on my Snapchat story. So I definitely want to incorporate that this year by taking just more photos and just of anything, anything that makes me happy or something I just want to capture the moment of. I noticed that when I look back into my photos library, I took so many photos back then, especially in 2016. And then you look at it from these past couple of years, and I just don't take that many photos of myself or the things that I enjoy. I feel that part of me is gone, and I really want to bring that back. Or just even on Instagram, I would post all the time on Instagram. Now I'm a very private person, and I don't really post too much on Instagram. And honestly, it's not that I necessarily don't want to share, it's that I haven't taken many photos of things. I mean, this past year, a lot of my photos were of my wedding. And my wedding happened towards the end of 2025. And I think just having my wedding photos and seeing photos of my family and my parents and my siblings and my husband's side of his family, it just made me realize I really should be capturing more of those kinds of moments and not waiting for a big milestone event to get those photos. I want to be able to have so many photos of everyone that I can look back on, especially when I'm older. Those are memories that you're making. The next thing as to why 2016 was so great is I would literally just get ready for no reason. I would just get ready and try new makeup looks, like learning how to contour, how to do like a cut crease eyeshadow. And also just like learning how to do my hair. I feel like 2016 was the year I learned how to do a lot of my makeup techniques now. And so that's what I've been doing for like the past 10 years. And to a certain extent, I feel like my makeup skills is probably stalled out. So I just want to like practice more and also just normalize it's okay to just get ready for no reason. Just because you want to feel cute. And quite honestly, it's a lot better doing that than spending your time doom scrolling or doing things that aren't really doing anything for you. The next thing I think is going to make a comeback. So Snapchat. Snapchat is definitely going to be a big thing this year. I feel like Snapchat is a quick way to kind of interact and communicate with your friends and family without texting. Sometimes texting for me is just like I'm a bad texter. I don't like to reply back to people. And if I do, it's usually like a reaction, not like any text. But like my siblings who are younger than me, I think I'm gonna definitely try to value my streaks with them. Plus, the Snapchat filters are so cute. I was looking back on them and they still have like the dog puppy face one, which I'm guilty of using that probably a little too much for all of my snaps back then. That one, and also like was it the unicorn that like threw up rainbows? But now the Snapchat filters are a lot more sophisticated. Like they're like beauty filters and they're like way more versatile than they used to be back then. I just feel like too with Snapchat, it's a little bit more private than your Instagram followers and you can pick and choose on who you want to talk to. Another thing that I'm going to do that I used to do in 2016 was I never really used like any food deliveries unless it was like Chinese takeout or pizza and wings. Now I have like a habit of using Uber Eats for everything. That means I don't really get to like go out to restaurants and sit down or even just go to a coffee shop. I feel like I use the drive-through for everything now, and I feel like that kind of kills the experience of going out and just experiencing like sitting in a restaurant or a coffee shop, and I really miss that. I miss the aspect of like sitting in a coffee shop, getting a cup of tea and a little pastry and sitting there for hours and talking to my friends and just kind of catching up on everything. I really feel like that is one of the big aspects that I miss. I think too that what I've noticed is just working full time, you kind of just feel like you're always in a rush or there's always something to do. And when I was a lot younger, I just prioritized wanting to socialize. Also, going to coffee shops, back then, I would only go to coffee shops that had amazing latte art so I could take a picture of it, and I haven't really looked around like since I moved to this new area, you know, what kind of coffee shops I want to go to or that would be any of interest to me, since I usually just go to Starbucks now, which back then I would never do a Starbucks drive-through unless I was like going to class and I was in a rush, whereas now I'm like, why would I actively go and sit in a coffee shop? But when I did go home a couple weeks ago to New York and it was freezing and we were staying at a hotel that only had a Starbucks that was just like in a really old house right down the road. So every morning we would just go there, grab a cup of coffee and eat our breakfast. And it was actually really, really nice. And that kind of made me realize I should really do this more often. Another big thing was having a Polaroid and taking Polaroids with your friends. And I used to have, I don't know what it was. I used to have like this really cute film camera that like create like little pocket-sized pictures, and I would tape that onto my wall every time I would take that with my friends, and I would ask for a new set of film around my birthday and Christmas. And it was a really cute way to like capture so many photos that I still have to this day, and it makes me feel so nostalgic. So like when it comes to photos, I was a really big fan of filters. I think everybody was back then, especially using like the Visco app. I was a true dedicated girly for that. And also the Rio filter. I keep seeing the Rio filter applied in TikTok. I haven't really used filter apps in a while, so I want to get back into using those. I feel like it made things look so much more vintage, and also showed like your personality a little bit more too as to what your core filters were. Now just like getting into like things that I specifically remember using and loving in 2016 are my VS Pink fold over yoga pants. I actually have some on right now. They just re-released them and they're so comfortable. I'm like, oh my gosh. I never was allowed to like wear them to school because actually it had like a school policy of like no leggings or anything that was like super tight. I think the only thing we can get away with was skinny jeans, which I'm sure the rules now have definitely gotten a lot more lax compared to when I was in school. But I think they're so cute and so girly, and they come in so many different colors. I think right now I have 3 pairs. I feel like pink in general was that girl in 2016. I mean, everybody wanted like a sweat set there, their perfumes, their bikinis, and I'm back into that again. Like, I think they're really making a comeback this year. Oh my gosh. Another thing is the Maybelline baby lips. I don't know if they still have those. Okay, I just checked Target. They still have them. Those ones are so cute. They're just like colored lip balms. But back then, all I could afford was drugstore products, and Maybelline was that girl. The Maybelline baby lips. I loved the Maybelline BB cream and the bouncy blush. I feel like Maybelline might still make those products. Today I definitely need to do some errands. I'm planning on doing some grocery shopping and then doing some meal prepping as well. And then also just trying to get through some like chores, like doing all my laundry. Trying to make sure everything's all in order before I head back to work tomorrow. I feel like with the new year, I'm trying to tackle all the things I've been procrastinating the past year. And to be honest, I've gotten most of the things done. And I've had to like put a lot of systems in place and reminders for things. I've just noticed with like working full time, having dogs, trying to take care of yourself, and also trying to like budget, you have to have like good systems in place and reminders to keep you on track. My skin has been good for like these past couple of weeks, but I actually have been having like a breakout on my forehead with all these like tiny little bumps, and I had no idea where it was coming from. But yesterday I found out that the Neutrogena wipes actually had a recall because there's bacteria in it, and that's literally what I've been using. So I have to throw out all of that, and hopefully I can try to get rid of most of these bumps. It's really hard to like find products that work with my forehead and my hairline because I tend to break out around that area so much. And it was so good for the past couple of weeks. I did buy like a micellar water anyways. I heard that using like the makeup wipes or something are not the best for your skin, and it doesn't really get rid of all your makeup. So I actually bought a micellar water from this brand, Avene. I'm hoping, since these products work well for me, that the micellar water actually will be good. I woke up today with so much energy and just feeling good. Almost excited to finish all my chores and everything else and get back to work, which sounds like a bit weird to say like, oh yeah, I've had like a great break, I want to go back to work. But yeah, I feel like these past 2 weeks I really need, like, it definitely has taught me I should take this time off every year. I feel like it's good to just kind of slow down and be reflective, just prioritize yourself. For the new year, I've also been looking at kind of the astrology and Chinese zodiac for myself and kind of hearing my predictions, even though it's a little bit, you know, woo-woo. I really love to hear like kind of what the outlook of 2026 is going to be and what I could prepare myself for. And there's nothing crazier is when you look back for the entire year, what your predictions were going to be at the beginning, and seeing like, oh, okay, how did they know that? Or like, how did they know I was gonna go through something like that? And had I remembered, or had I cared more often, I would have been maybe a little bit well prepared, almost notified in a way. But I usually just like to look at it at the beginning of the year, and then I completely forget about it until the end of the year, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I not really look at this stuff? Or like, this really happened, that's crazy. I'm just gonna go in with some mascara real quick. These past 2 weeks I've actually gotten back into reading. The thing with me is I go through periods of being an avid reader, and I can get through a book a week. It doesn't matter what size, I can get through a book a week. And I'll probably do that for a good 2 months, and then I'm like, okay, I'm a bit tired. And I'll take like a month off before I get back into it, and I'll put together like all my books that I want to read. I've kind of slowly started that back up. I did finish a book called Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli, and the book was actually really good. It's kind of like an enemies to lovers back to enemies, and I believe it's like a duology, so I do need to read the second book. Sorry if you hear my dog snoring. He's sleeping right next to me. I do feel like I want to get back into reading ACOTAR again. I did finish it, but I feel like I just haven't found a book that evokes the same feelings as that series and Sarah J Maas in general, and I feel like by reading it a second time I'll be able to pick up on all the little details. I'm trying to find my eyeshadow brush. I just found out too that you can actually pay to get the ads off of your Kindle. I thought once you bought your Kindle you can't remove it, or unless you buy like a brand new one without the ads, but Amazon does have an option. I think you have to pay $20 to get the ads off. I did see on Pinterest that there's like cute little like Kindle wallpapers you can have for the front of your Kindle when it's idle, so that's kind of causing me to think I should probably do that. I love decorating the back of my Kindle with stickers. For the winter and the fall, I do have like winter fall stickers that are usually like Christmas time or autumn themed. Then for like the spring and summer, I usually just have like a set of these pink cute girly stickers, and I think those are my favorite, to be honest, so I'm gonna put them back in today. And I did get a pop socket that I use for my phone, but also the pop socket comes with like a little ring that you can stick onto your Kindle case, and it can also just stick to it. So that's been great to have as well. So that's made reading like so much better. I also have like the Kindle stand that attaches to my nightstand so that I can also read when I'm laying in bed. It has like a remote, and then you just attach it to your Kindle, and then you can just press the little remote when you're reading, and it really helps with not having any like neck pain. And it's just a lazy version of reading, but it's so convenient. All right, I'm just gonna spray my face quickly before I do my hair. All right, now that we're done with the face, I'm just gonna quickly go in and do my lips. Okay, now that I'm done with my makeup, I'm gonna take my clips out, just do one more brush through. Sometimes parting my hair can be iffy because it doesn't want to part nicely in the middle. Okay, what I do for my hair, so how I like to do my hair is I'll take this round brush with my Dyson, and I'll just start with my bangs, and I'll kind of just like try to give it a little bit of volume and a little bit of curl. I just finished my hair and my camera died, so I had to replace it. Ever since I've gotten this haircut where I've had like a little bit of a shorter bang and lots of layers, it really helps have my hair have a little bit more body. It's probably my favorite haircut I've ever had, actually. I think it actually frames my face so well. But yeah, this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for getting ready with me. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.